Happy Friday. You know what show this is if you've already been watching all season long. If you're new to the program, welcome into the Hog Roundup. That's ESPN Arkansas's Ty Richardson. I'm Pig Trail Nation's Evan Kamiko. Ty, we got a lot to touch down today. Opening day in baseball. We'll get to that. We've got plenty of football news to talk about, some updates on spring practice, the spring game. The combine for the NFL is coming up in about a week or so excited for that. But let's start where we always do with Arkansas basketball. John Calipari's team going 2-0 over the last week on the road. They go to Mississippi State, blow out the Bulldogs, go down to the Bayou, blow out the Tigers. It was a good week all in all with a short rotation. What do you make of the 2-0 week for Arkansas men's hoops?
I think it's a combination of you played really good on both ends of the floor. 88 points against State. You go for 91, I believe, against LSU, and you play good defensively. Hold both teams is under 70 points. LSU shoots 31, a putrid 31%. But let's look what those teams are at the rankings. McMahon's going to be gone at the end of the season. Baton Rouge. Chris Jans is not having a good year in Starkville, a place that Arkansas hadn't won since 2015. Cal's never lost there. He's 22-1 against the Bulldogs since he's been in both Lexington and in Fayetteville, which is just a staggering statistic. So it's like a back and forth game. Yes, you're happy. You got 2 road wins. You've got 4 of them now this season. But at the same time, look at the competition. Let's see what they do next week against Alabama. Big one this weekend. Tomorrow against the Auburn Tigers. And then the biggest one of the year, Florida Gators, Boogie Flan, Darius Acup, the matchup we've been waiting on for a while.
That game is going to be awesome down in Gainesville. Are you going to go to Gainesville for that, or are you going to be covering it back here?
I would like to. I'm actually going to be in Florida the following week in Fort Lauderdale, which I know we've talked about. But Hogs have better chances of winning that game if I'm not there. There's a very incorrect stigma out there that when I go behind enemy lines, we lose. But you know, I've been a part of many victories on the road, and hopefully we'll travel for the NCAA tournament. We'll watch this team somehow, some way ended up in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Well, that's obviously the ultimate goal, is to get to Indy in the Final Four. But as we're sticking it out, we're talking about the now. We've kind of mentioned on this podcast over and over again about Trevin Brazile, in that when he goes, the rest of the team goes. His stats the last 2 games in this road stretch, 16.5 points per game, 10 rebounds, averaging a double-double. He's getting to go early, and we heard from Cal the other night. And what he kind of echoed what we've been saying, where if TB wants to get going, it starts on offense. Just what does it mean that, like, we've seen TB be that player we want him to be, and wanting to see the consistency, and it feels like it's coming a little bit more and more along the lines over the last couple of games?
5 blocks in the last game, including the ultimate I own you and the 2-handed rejection where he just grabbed the ball. That was special. Trevin Brazile has all the talent of the world. We've seen it at points in his career, and I was really excited when he came over from Missouri. He was a great game in Maui. Ends up tearing his ACL at home. Didn't look the same player the following year. Last year had an up and down season. Then they kind of got going a little bit late. And then this year has maybe been the best he's been as a college basketball player. And I know Cal was quoted to say, it's like, doesn't matter. He's 23 years old. I mean, this kid can play in the NBA. I think we all know it. I think he's ranked 81 right now on ESPN's latest draft board. So, TB, when he is locked in and competent, that's the thing. Just the confidence in himself, talking about the early shots, but his defensive presence at 6'10", the ability to guard positions 1 through 5 at any given point. It's a unique talent that not a lot of kids have today in 2026. And Trevin Brazile has it, and he's playing for the Hawks.
It seems like when the rotation gets shorter, that's when Trevin gets better. That's where this Arkansas team has gotten better in the John Calipari era, is when he's only able to play 6-7 guys. I know Isaiah Sealy had a good game at Mississippi State, not so much this past week, and that rotation this weekend was really 6 guys until the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, where you're able to get your bench players in, some of the scout team guys in. But what do you make of that, where Arkansas for some reason decides to play better when they are down players, and maybe it's just out of necessity, and something kicks into this team of like, oh crap, we need to be at our best right now because we don't have the backup we normally do?
I think it's important to step up when guys go down in any sport, and gals, I should add as well, because it happens. I can't think of one team over the history of sports that hasn't had an injury, not derail their season, but in some cases help, because a guy like Isaiah Sealy, who had only played, I think Cal quoted 5 minutes, and now he's played a combined 27 the last 2 games. Mm-hmm. When do you feel more confident if you're John Calipari to put him in? If he's played 10 SEC minutes all season, or if he's up to like 50 or so? the 50. And I don't know if he's going to get there. I don't know what's going to happen these next 7 games, including tomorrow night. But what I do know is that he at least has given Cal and the rest of the assistant coaches confidence that if you need to play him in a situation, let's say an NCAA tournament game where TB and some of the other guys get in foul trouble, like you alluded to, and you don't have anywhere else, he's your 9th guy. Or maybe a guy gets injured, heaven forbid, in a tournament game. We've already seen DJ and Carter go down for 2 games this season. So this could end up being a positive. Now, I'm not one of those yahoos that thinks that this team's better without Carter and DJ. Look at the competition. Carter has to play better. DJ has to play better offensively. I think that sometimes he's a really good defender, but he kind of squeezes the floor because he's not as good as the shooters, Malik. So I hope that they come back and are ready to get in the ball game or get in the game and give this team some energy and effort, because that's what they can do. And if they can add in some scoring in that, like we've seen Carter points his career and DJ's always driving to the bucket, excited to see both those guys back.
And that's where I was going to go next, of where when these guys get back, where do you want to see them, right? Like, we know that DJ's at his best when he gets downhill. We know that Carter's at his best when his defense can lead to some open threes. Where do you want to see those guys get reworked into this offense coming off of this knee and this ankle injury?
I think Billy's forced Cal to put him in the starting lineup, even when Carter comes back healthy. He's doing the same thing as a starter as he was off the bench. Around double digits, if not over. 5 or 6 rebounds, a couple steals, a couple blocks, an assist or 2, an alley-oop, fast break. That he is just go. Like, when Devontae Davis was here, the reason I bring his name up is Auburn game. Just the importance that he played in that, the dunk at the end. I think he knocked down 2 big threes. He was just the Energizer Bunny freshman year. And like Devo kind of dropped off a little bit sophomore year. Billy's gone up. And what's so special to me is he's playing the exact same way. He's just better. So that doesn't happen. Like guys trying, and he's shooting threes now, which is an element of his game, but he's not jacking 100 this season. He's shooting the ones that are open within the offense, within the framework of a fast break. Billy Richmond is a special kid that can provide so much in this basketball team. And really all that I just mentioned is why he's so vital for this team's success here in about a month.
Yeah, I think Billy's a guy that we've always talked about that is that energizer. Anytime Arkansas needs defensive intensity, Cal, he's the first one that's going off the bench, is Billy Richmond III. So he's fun to watch. But, you look at this Auburn team, and they're coming to Bud Walton this time. You know what happened the last time these two teams met, where Auburn had their way and did pretty much whatever they wanted with the Arkansas defense, scoring, I believe, 95 or so points. What does Arkansas have to do in round 2 against Stephen Pearl's team to come away with that revenge victory and keep pace at the top of the SEC standings?
Well, it's not letting Hall go for 30-plus and knock down, I believe, 4 threes like he did in the jungle. Keyshawn Hall was kind of weird. I don't know if you watched that game Tuesday night prior to Arkansas and LSU, but he didn't play down the final stretch for Auburn. Stephen Pearl elected to keep him on the bench. Auburn almost came back, but Vanderbilt kind of held them at bay and ultimately won by 8 or 10, whatever the final score ended up being. So that was kind of a weird deal. But Hall was tremendous against Arkansas, got whatever he wanted. So stopping him and Pettiford is such the key. Those are their 2 dynamite scorers, both lefties, both outstanding college basketball players. And Hall talked about it being personal last time playing Arkansas, being that he felt like the Razorbacks kind of, and I'm paraphrasing, like kind of not like had a lot of interest and then maybe backed off a little bit. So you got to make sure you stop that kid. If you stop him, then you should have a really good chance to win. Let's not forget the motivation, though. So not only you bring up the motivation of when Arkansas got spanked, Evan, Auburn's lost 3 straight. They know their NCAA tournament chances are on the brink right now. So this idea that Arkansas is going to be way more motivated than Auburn just because of that one game that happened a month ago, I believe is incorrect. I think actually you could make a case that Auburn's the more motivated team. Because if they don't get a marquee win here soon, they're going to put themselves in a situation where they might have to run the table at the SEC tournament. Stephen Pearl knows that. The team knows that. And they're looking at an Arkansas team that they blasted at home. It's like, we can beat these guys. Mm-hmm. Kentucky just beat Arkansas in their last home game. Why can't we do the same thing? I think you can make a case Auburn's more motivated for tomorrow night.
It's that funny kind of notion that we talk about week in and week out, where it seems like every time we're talking about an Arkansas game, it's the other team that comes in with more to play for and more hunger. You saw that after Kentucky when we were talking after the game, where Coach Calipari is out there saying, yeah, they wanted it more than we did. Auburn probably going to come into Bud Walton and have that same sentiment of, hey, we need this more than Arkansas does. Because Arkansas right now, you're pretty much locked in the NCAA tournament. You could lose out and still get it. Now, that's not what they want to do. They want to win the regular season, of course, and set themselves up for success in Nashville and then down the line to be a 3 or 4 seed, maybe a 3 seed. But right now we're looking 4 to 5 to 6 is where the sweet spot is. But I think you're absolutely right. This Auburn team is saying to themselves, we can beat this team. We're coming in, and it's just ironic that Arkansas yet again is going to have to face a hungry team at home on a Saturday night.
And Cal's reiterated several times we could lose every one of these games down the stretch. What he's trying to convey to his team, at least in my opinion, is there's not going to be any cakewalk games the rest of the way. You can make a case the LSU or Mississippi State game was war, even though they were on the road. I know he didn't say that in the locker room, but these are tough games.
Yeah.
You're going to the best team in college basketball in the SEC, at least in Gainesville at the end of this month. You're going to a place in Tuscaloosa where you don't fare well most of the time. You're going to Missouri at the tail end of the year, which they've had a home win or two pretty quality this season. So I think if you're John Calipari in Arkansas, as you said, you're tourney bound, but it's about protecting the seed, as he's reiterated over and over. Right now on bracket matrix, which compiles all these brackets, you're a 6 seed. Mm-hmm. You can be better than this 6 seed. Do you really want to end up at a 5? It seems like 2 5 seeds get upset every year.
Yeah.
So get yourself to at least a 4, maybe a 3, like you alluded to, and set yourself up for success so you aren't just a first weekend team. I think this team has the capability of the second weekend, but they have a defense at times of a team that's getting knocked down in the round of 64. It's just you've got to be more consistent. I know they've been more consistent the last 2 games, but as the competition steps up a little bit this week, how consistent are they against a quality Auburn team tomorrow night?
And Ty, last thing before we go to a break that I want to talk about, you mentioned right there, Alabama going to be up in the schedule in a little bit. They will be probably without Charles Bediako. Let's talk about the situation. I want to get your take on this because he played a couple games. People were shouting G League dropout, and now he can't play. I'm interested to see what the future holds with these games that Alabama played with him, if that will impact the resume. What do you think on this whole situation?
As far as the resume goes, I point to what Bucky McMillan said earlier this week, the head coach of Texas A&M. He's like, I don't care about Nate Oates and Alabama and their situation. He didn't say we lost by 3, but A&M lost by 3. How do you resolve that for us? Because we lost to an ineligible player. Mm-hmm. Greg Sankey, Charlie Baker. I don't know who the head of I think David Warlock's the head of communications for the NCAA tournament selection show, but how do you make that right for us? Like, A&M's a really good basketball team. Arkansas's got to play them at home here in a few weeks. What do you do for that? And like, I know Tennessee beat them, but I forget the other team that lost to Alabama. But what do you do, or the other 2 teams, for those teams? Because if I'm a coach of those teams like Bucky McMillan, I'm irate. I'm furious. And, I mean, Bediako impacted their team. And, I mean, 7-1, I think, rebounds, blocks, finishes around the rims, good ball player, good college basketball player. So I think my whole thing is, if they were going to allow it, then Cal needs to utilize it to his own advantage, whether he wants to or not. It's kind of, how Lane Kiffin always complains about the portal and things being wrong.
Yeah.
Was the best portal coach in college football. He was in Oxford. He's now in Baton Rouge. It's the same thing. It's like, you don't have to like something. I don't like certain things in the way the media is trending. But if you don't adapt, then you're going to get left behind. It's the same concept here. If they're going, and I'm under the idea, the guise of, if they're going to allow it, then whether you like it or not, you need to utilize it. And we'll see in the coming years if this is something they revert back to. It's just a whole mess right now. What's the old McConaughey? Fugazi.
Hey, the hope is too Ryan Silverfield's going to adapt as well. But that's what we're talking about next. Stick around. The Hog Roundup with Ty Richardson returns after these messages. We talk plenty of football. We'll be right back. Back here on the Hog Roundup, that's Ty Richardson. I'm Evan Kamiko. Ty, it is February, and we are getting closer and closer and closer to spring football. Interesting enough, yesterday on social media, Arkansas was posting that John Calipari, Chris Johnson, Jordan Weber were all in attendance talking to the Arkansas football program, trying to give them some words of wisdom, encouragement of being the first team in a brand new era. Did you see these videos? Do you like the messaging there? What's your kind of thoughts as we get into spring football in about a month?
So I have not watched the videos, full disclosure, but it's pretty crazy that in, I guess, a month and 2 days, spring football begins. So that'll be something to more talking points right around the NCAA tournament, the SEC tournament. So you'll have that. You'll have baseball that at that point I think will be in conference play. So there'll be a lot going on in the middle of March and the 25th when Arkansas plays its spring game. I think I got asked this question on our show this morning. It's like, where are you at on excitement level between regular season basketball, regular season baseball, and spring football? And I'm like, well, 2 are in season, 1's in the off season. So it's definitely third on the pecking order. But I think this is, I said it earlier, this is nothing Ryan Silverfield's done, or it's not his fault. But since 2012, you've had 4 new head coaches. You had an interim in John L. Smith, or you knew he was an interim. Brett Bielema, you really felt good about that. Chad Morris, I was excited, didn't pan out. Sam Pittman got excited for a bit and then it didn't pan out. Just not overly excited. And I'm trying to find ways to be positive and look at the program, look at the schedule. But when you have the second toughest schedule in college football, I think Ohio State's 1, Arkansas's 2. When you look at a lot of rankings, you look at the lack of success. You look at the statistics, SEC, where Arkansas ranks dead last when it comes to competition in this league last decade or so. It's hard. That's a long-winded answer in saying that, yeah, I want to see what comes out of spring ball, but I am going to be more negative jaded than I have been in recent years, which kind of sucks, but that's just where I am right now.
And I think that's the sentiment of a lot of Hog fans and we've talked about it over and over again, of how do you get excited for, like you've mentioned, another coach. What feels like they're turning coaches over every 3 to 4 years. It's hard to have stability and excitement for the fan base when this is just the case. And it's the unfortunate reality, because if we look at the 2025 team, you're about to send 6 guys to the NFL Combine. You think when a program sends 6 guys to the NFL Combine, they win 6, 7, 8 games in the season. And unfortunately, they won 2. And it wasn't really that good.
Dose. Yeah, no bueno. Did not go well. And to your point, I mean, I look back, and I was in Oxford. I made my way to the student section for that game, and that fumble, goal-to-go situation type of red zone, if I remember right, Jaylen Brown, I was just like, I was sick to my stomach. And there's this distraught picture of my brother after the game where he's just sitting in the stands for a good 5 or 10 minutes with his head just like this. And that's what Arkansas football majority has been the last decade or so. So there's hope. What I would point to, and I kept pointing to that Oxford game last year, is like week 3, if you win that game, you change the completely dynamics of the season. And it's unfair to ask a head coach, hey, first year, week 2, new team, new quarterback, 60 new players on the roster. You need to go to Salt Lake City, Utah, and win that first game. But that's what they need to do. If you want to actually get, and I'm not a negative person, Evan, you've been around me enough to know that.
Yeah.
If you actually want to get fans that not against you, but are more negative skewed now here on March the 13th, this Friday, than most of the other fans, and look, positives are going to be with you regardless. You go win that football game. And there's a lot that's going to happen between now and then. Injuries, turnover. I mean, reportedly there's a new defensive line coach that Arkansas is going to have to figure out this week, or in the coming weeks, I should say. But that's how you change the psyche and the mindset of the fans that are not all the way in with you. The all-in approach that Ryan Silverfield keep talking about. Well, the fans aren't all in with this hire. The fans aren't all in with this coaching staff. The fans aren't all in with Ryan Silverfield. But if you somehow win that game week 2 and you equal your season total from a year ago, then all of a sudden you're going to have those teetering fans or the negative Nancy's. They're going to shoot up. They're all of a sudden going to go all in. Let's go.
Think about it.
Get drilled the following week.
Like, they didn't win a Power 4 game last year. Like, and if you can go in week 2 to your set, like, it's sad that we're here in February talking about, hey, week 2 is going to be a must-win football game for this staff to get the fan base's support. Otherwise, that game against Georgia the next week, ain't nobody showing up to Razorback Stadium. I wouldn't, like, if I was a student, I wouldn't want to go and watch my team get blown out by the number 2 team in the country.
And I think about Georgia. I know 3 straight years without a national championship appearance. I know Kirby Smart's just been disappointed for their standards. They're, I would guess, going to want to make a statement. And his old buddy, Sam Pittman, ain't on the sidelines anymore. Arkansas lost that game in 21, 36-0. That game could have been 58-0. Like, they called off the dogs. I was there. Kirby Smart started running the football. He stopped passing with Stetson Bennett. They could have annihilated Arkansas in that game. And you know what? Kirby Smart, respect to him. He respects Sam Pittman, it sure seems like, because he called off the dogs, not just on the field, but off the field as well. And Arkansas, again, still got smashed. But if there's a chance to dominate, I think Georgia's going to come into Fayetteville and do it. But like you said, and again, it's February the 13th here, so we've got several months to that second weekend of September. But that is how you change the entire trajectory of your season. And even if you lose, like, just don't get drilled. Yeah. Don't lose by like 28 in Salt Lake City. The fans, they get that one way from XNA to Salt Lake. It's not too bad. Give them a reason to be like somewhat positive leaving there. If they win all the way, head back to Fayetteville, Donald W., week 3. Let's see what you got against one of the best programs, if not the best, recently in college football.
Exactly. Exciting time. And I mean, really not exciting, questionable, I guess you would say, if anything. All right, Ty, before we go to a quick break, I know you want to bring up something about football on a recent activity here at our KNWA studios. I'll let you take that away.
So I was kind of messing around on LinkedIn. I try and do that every day, just kind of see what's going on different social medias. And I catch this clip of a young, spry, vibrant, athletic Evan Kamiko that won. What did y'all title y'all's MVP?
It was called, I don't know, it was like the big KNWA game. We did a station flag football game because the Super Bowl was on our NBC channel. So to promote the Super Bowl and something fun here, our producer Christina, shout out to her, decided to do a flag football game, which was very fun. So it was an 8-on-8 game. We had Cole Cretton, the starting quarterback at Shiloh Christian, be all-time the first half and then play with us as well, one of the best quarterbacks in the state. So it was a very fun time, and yeah, the MVP award did get handed out to one of us.
Yeah, that a boy. I respect. I'll say Trey looked pretty athletic. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't recognize a lot of your coworkers. I knew you, him, and I think I recognized one other person. But stud. Now here's what you do.
Yeah.
You parlay that game. Silverfield's a young guy. He's vibrant. Like, at one point they did a media flag football game. So you and Trey, you push Coach Silverfield on the idea we need to bring this tradition back, Coach. We want to get all these old, washed-up media members out on your football field and have a little fun this spring.
Hey, that's not.
Then you build some.
That's not a bad idea. I will say, definitely people got hurt in our KNWA game that we'll talk about off camera of some of the injuries that happened. So we'll see. Trey was one of them that got a little bit dinged up. He'll tell you he got turf toe. I say he's, a little weak in the mindset. But I did call my shot. I said before the game, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. That was my stat line. All right, Ty, we got to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're talking baseball and wrapping up the show. We'll be right back on Hog Roundup. Back here on the Hog Roundup, wrapping up shop. Ty Richardson, Evan Kamiko along with you. Ty, Arkansas baseball opening up shop this weekend. They're down in Arlington. A great tournament, as I think Arkansas fans have coined it. It's Bomb Walker South down there. What's your expectation for the season and for the weekend for Dave Van Horn in his year 24 at Arkansas?
Well, this is a really cool event. Arkansas, for some of these freshmen, getting to play your first Razorback game in a major league stadium in Globe Life is incredible. And then you follow it up the next weekend playing at Bomb Walker, one of the best, if not the best, venues in all of college baseball. You get Oklahoma State, who you battled with in postseason recently. You get some Southwest Conference foes in TCU and Texas Tech. This has everything you want as a college baseball fan. And in addition to not just the opponents you're familiar with, the Dallas Metroplex is flooded with Razorback fans. Mm-hmm. And they pack out this is not Homer Ty talking. Just watch it on Flow Sports or listen to it with Phil and Bubba. There is going to be a lion's share amount of Razorback fans relative to the Oklahoma State Cowboys, the TCU Horned Frogs, and the Red Raiders. Arkansas will dominate in terms of fan bases, and hopefully you'll see some guys you hadn't seen yet, either transfers or freshmen. They're like, okay, I think this might be one of my favorite players this baseball season.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Baseball is finally here. It's my favorite time on campus. Ty, anything else before we wrap up?
Oh, just another shout out, MVP. What's the new? I feel like I have to be very aware of your presence from now on when I walk into a room and grace you with the MVP trophy or the
I
MVP salute of some sort.
I have a little trophy that's like sitting on my nightstand right now that says MVP on it. It's very small. It's plastic. It's like $2, but I love it. It's great. All
Yeah,
right.
corporate just like not shell out for a big time trophy? What's the deal?
No.
Come on, next star.
No comment on next star. All right, that's going to do it this week for Hog Roundup. For Ty Richardson, I'm Evan Camico. We'll see you back here on the Hog Roundup next week. Enjoy, everybody.